BlockFi files for bankruptcy protection and is set to sue FTX over Robinhood collateral. Amazon is creating an 8 episode TV series based on Sam Bankman Fried and the collapse of FTX. Apple is threatening Twitter. Bitfront crypto exchange will soon close its doors. The National Bank of Ukraine has introduced a draft concept for its central bank digital currency, and BNB is the only token that hasn't lost more than 60% during this downturn. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Assets of Value podcast. Today, on November the 29th, and every day, we connect to give an industry insider's perspective on crypto, Web3, and NFT topics. We are the founders of Assets of Value, a Web3 research organization. Our podcast is not to be taken as legal or financial advice. Let's dive straight into it. Abe, how are the markets looking like today?
Hey Shwab, a lot of good things, a lot of interesting things happening in the market. We see Bitcoin holding its place despite the arrival of the Santa rally. For our viewers, Santa rally is something that happens in a December month or maybe towards end of November, just anticipating the Christmas and the New Year and the financial and economic opportunities that might bring. And yeah, we might see a bit of bounce back from the level once we are ready to retest the 15.8K low. And yeah, the market and the altcoin market, it's all looking good. Some projects are exceptional, like BNB. It didn't lose value over 60% in this dread bear market. I see it as something very positive to take.
Yeah, a bit of festive cheer for us all as we end November and then move into December. Historical month where traders do take profits and it's end of the calendar year as well. Dodge still pumping 30% and BNB holding up strong, as you mentioned. We'll come back onto that a little bit later on. But is this a short relief rally? Because what we're seeing fundamentally, another big organization filing for bankruptcy. This time it's BlockFi. Yesterday, at the time of recording, this news hadn't actually surfaced, so it wasn't included. But as the day prolonged, BlockFi is filing for bankruptcy and is looking to sue FTX, specifically over the Robinhood collateral that it had invested in. What's your thoughts on this?
I think the BlockFi had it long time coming because since FTX acquired BlockFi, the customer retention and customer experience policies have been changing slowly. And currently, one of my friends in the US, he complains that he cannot export his trading data from BlockFi, and he has been in crypto for long, like in 2017 beginning or so. And when these customers loses their trading data, their investment data, I think it speaks a lot of volume. And I think BlockFi is right to sue FTX because literally FTX brought about the chaos on BlockFi, and I think they deserve some justice.
Yeah, I mean, BlockFi is a cryptocurrency lender, and no doubt if BlockFi is feeling the pinch, so anyone that they've lent against is also struggling in this bear market. BlockFi has sold about $239 million of its own cryptocurrency holdings and warned almost 250 workers that they would lose their jobs in the run up to this bankruptcy filing. Obviously, this is sad news for everyone involved in BlockFi. And on top of that, as well as it filing for bankruptcy, the example that you gave where user data or historical data not being made available, this is going to have repercussions further down the line with individuals or companies who would need access to that data for regulatory reasons or not. It seems like the cascading effect is continuing, and SBF still remains in the news. Amazon is creating an 8 episode TV series based on Sam Bankman Fried and the collapse of FTX. This was surely going to happen, right? It was a question whether it be Amazon or Netflix. Is this a good move?
I think viewers will be interested to know what SBF has done wrong in a dramatic manner. But before that, I would love to see a movie or a series about Dogon and Luna and maybe 3AC and maybe FTX. I think this should form an entire Marvel series in crypto. Like You can compare Doc Own as maybe Iron Man and FTX guy as Captain America or something. Like, this will be funny, but if you look at the perspectives, these people caused the collapse of crypto and pushing us and pushed BTC and altcoins into a very long extended winter. When we look back at this situation in maybe say 3 years or 4 years, we'll see that this 2022 was the time that crypto was tested to its core. Like, we got tested, Bitcoin got tested, most of these altcoins got tested to the core, and if we are still standing, that speaks of the quality of the industry we have right now.
Not only the industry, the technology as well. It's funny you mention they could be casted as superheroes essentially in a storyline. Funny enough, the producers or directors did make and develop Avengers the Endgame. So that's who will be creating this 8-part TV series. It would be fascinating to see Three Arrows Capital, Luna, and Celsius all part of or TV series related to those, but I think that's too niche. The FTX situation has really encompassed many different entities, individuals, and even government. So that news or the way that that will be portrayed is certainly something to look forward to. Staying with a Web2 firm, moving from Amazon to Apple, Apple's actually threatening Twitter. What's actually going on in that space? I'm not too close to it.
Let me give you a hint of what's going on. Apple is a American company, and Apple strictly abides by the rules of America and United States. And when United States want to act against crypto, Apple, amongst all the other corporates that's instilled in United States, will act in their favor. What happens is Twitter is pursuing a cryptocurrency payment mechanism to reward all over the world. This will change how our work culture will progress from this point. For example, people in maybe 3 years or 4 years will be starting to get paid in crypto through Twitter. Like, Twitter is the new LinkedIn, and when people will not be interacting with their bank accounts often, that will pose a challenge to the existing banking system of America and say all other countries, of course. But it will affect America the most because they have the most stringent tax norms present. And imagine, people want to purchase from supermarkets, they want to purchase from shops, e-marketplaces, and they'll just use their crypto to do all these purchases rather than using their fiat money. So they save the burden of converting crypto to fiat money. And this troubles tax pundits and the persons forming policies over tax. And I think this is one of the most underrated reasons for this new move from Apple. I think most of the conglomerates are going to follow Apple and try to get rid of cryptos as much as possible.
But from what angle is Apple threatening to remove Twitter from its App Store? It seems like the payments are still quite some time away. Is it only the payments, or is it some sort of breach of terms and conditions? Or is it a government play and they're being forced to actually rein in Twitter and its potential growth?
As of now, we don't have any concrete information on what's happening. But what I discussed is the possible scenario. And as crypto people, crypto natives, we always have to think from a crypto perspective, like how this world, global, and corporate movements can affect cryptocurrency as an institution. And speaking in that aspect, I think this might be a move promoted by tax authorities.
Well, we know that Apple runs a tight ship and is very strict in its terms and conditions and wants to limit how applications and apps interact with their customers, especially around payments. So something to look forward to and to see if it will unravel as we think it might. Moving on to Bitfront, this is a crypto exchange in Japan and it will soon be closing its doors. This feels like another casualty of the crypto bear market. We're seeing this. Many of our friends are involved in the industry and either they're taking pay cuts or they are being given their notice period. I mean, Is it particularly worse for crypto exchanges or is it the industry as a whole?
Obviously, it will affect the industry as a whole. Currently, crypto exchanges are integral part of the industry, and whatever happens to these exchanges will have ripple effects on the entire crypto economy and crypto ecosystem also. And when we hear stories of these exchanges getting bankrupt and they denying their users the access to the users' funds, we discussed this a long time ago and still it's relevant. Let's hope that most of these exchanges give ample time for the users to withdraw their funds, but it might not be the case for most of them because, see, people should start taking responsibility and withdraw their funds, their assets to their own wallets. It's the only possible way. Forget FTX, forget KuCoin, Binance, all these exchanges, they are not safe. They are just custodians of your assets. And if you can custody, if you can ascertain self custody, that's the best solution going forward.
We've seen only in the month of October a 150% increase or thereabouts for decentralized exchanges. So trading volume has gone up significantly as the participants move away from centralized exchanges. It's the decentralized exchanges that are benefiting. Yeah, it's tough to tell. And we discussed yesterday around on-chain analysis and what that data was saying. The bottom feels as if it's near, but for the first time ever, we've never been in a bearish or a stressed macro environment where inflation has been high. Ever since Bitcoin has been around since 2012, it's always been a growth period where such macro pressures haven't really affected Bitcoin. So it feels like the industry as a whole is struggling. Having said that, the National Bank of Ukraine has introduced a draft concept for its central bank digital currency. So this is known as Hirvina or e-Hirvena. Maybe I've totally butchered that name, but it's another testament to say that this blockchain technology, cryptocurrencies are not going away. Ukraine coming out with a digital currency. Who's the furthest along in producing a digital currency and getting that ready?
Let's say I'm not a fan of CBDCs because we already have a lot of cryptocurrencies, stable coins, etc. And we don't really need CBDCs to strengthen our crypto ecosystem because let's face it, what are CBDCs are yet another way for central banks to print more currency. And this they can do without any form of collateral, without any form of, let's say, financial inputs. They can print money with a piece of code. This is frightening if you consider the realities. When a central bank can print currency at its will, we cannot stop inflation. Forget about stopping. We cannot even survive this inflation wave that's going to present. And one code failure, one hack can disrupt the financial system. I think central banks should be wary of this and they should at least take proper measures before giving accessibility to public. Like let this be a beta program. I'm totally supporting it, but without proper testing and without proper battle testing, I think launching CBDCs will be a bad idea for the people.
It looks like an inevitable direction that central banks are heading. You say that they can mine these coins out of thin air, but essentially they're doing that with their fiat money. It's not backed by anything. If there is a win for the government, it actually costs them less because they don't need to go through the whole logistics and counterfeiting measures to actually produce a note or a currency. They can do it on a digital form on the blockchain. It should actually bring down costs, leaving the energy consumption aside. Staying with tokens, BNB is the only one that hasn't lost more than 60% of its market cap during this downturn. That's got to be a testament to its strength.
See, BNB has been strong and it has been outperforming Bitcoin by a margin. If you check BNB/BTC chart, which measures the performance of BNB against BTC, it's at an all-time high. Even in this bear market, even in this crypto window, BNB/BTC is at an all-time high. This is something spectacular and I have no words to describe it, to be honest, because BNB as an ecosystem has transgressed from being merely a centralized exchange to an all inclusive chain, a network which can compete with Ethereum. Like, if we speak of facts, BNB chain is managing at least thrice the number of transactions than Ethereum in a month. And if we are giving figures, Ethereum is managing 30 million transactions per month, and BNB chain is managing at least 92 to 93 million transactions. And this all comes with a cheaper gas fee. But let's conveniently remember that BNB chain is a highly centralized chain, and there's a single party risk in BNB chain. So I don't say that BNB is better than Ethereum, because Ethereum is far more mature and it's far decentralized, and it's the testimonial blockchain technology that we have right now. Ethereum is the world computer, and maybe BNBs as an asset have better valuations and can better hold its value. But in the future, I think BNB might face.
A quick verdict: is BNB undervalued?
If you're buying BNB around 220 to $250, of course it's undervalued. But if you're buying it, say 300 to 400 range, maybe it's not.
Always a little bit of alpha to close up the show here. As always, it's been super fun. I'm glad you were able to jam with us today. That's it until next time. Thank you, everybody, and we're signing off.